Jasmine. How are you?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to a break before starting my junior year. What about you?
I'm doing good as well. I'm looking forward to the holidays to relax and spend some time with family. So can't get here soon enough. But anyways, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today about the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond Summer 2026 internship. Our internship targets students pursuing degree in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math related fields. Our interns will work on projects to help us solve current business issues that we're facing. These projects require strong interpersonal skills, the ability to work as part of a team, strong project management and problem solving skills, and someone who is able to learn quickly. In addition to the project work, our interns will receive leadership training, mentorship, and networking opportunities. So it's a really great internship. I do have a few questions prepared, I should say, to get to know you more and assess your skills in relation to our opportunities. I will leave about 10 to 15 minutes at the end for you to ask me anything that you'd like. Some of the questions have multiple parts, so feel free to ask me to repeat anything if you need to. You're also welcome to take notes. I will be doing quite a bit of writing as well, so just wanted to give you a heads up.
All right, that sounds good to me.
Great. Well, to kick things off, tell me a little about yourself, specifically your background and your interest.
Okay, for starters, I am a rising junior at Virginia State University, and I currently have a 3.8 GPA. I am majoring in computer science with a minor in cybersecurity and scheduled to graduate one semester early in December 2027. I have experience as a software developer where I work closely with an assigned faculty member on a variety of different projects. I'm currently working on developing an app as part of a research study to develop or to understand the lives of HPU students and their mental health, which is a topic that is very near and dear to me. On a personal note, I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, but have been in Virginia for a few years. In my free time, I enjoy cooking, working out, and traveling. And another fun fact about me is I have a twin sister.
Wow, a twin sister, pretty cool. So, why did you choose STEM and computer science specifically? And to add to that, looking ahead, where do you see yourself within the next 5 to 10 years?
I've always been interested in STEM ever since I joined an after school engineering club in elementary school. I was one of the few girls in the club, but our advisor, Mr. Babel, always encouraged me to take on challenges and participate in competitions that gave me confidence in my abilities really early on. I chose computer science specifically after taking my first computer science class in my junior year of high school. AP Computer Science and Cybersecurity Technologies. This might sound funny, but one of my favorite shows growing up was Criminal Minds. I was always fascinated by Penelope Garcia, the team's hacker. Her role opened my eyes to what cybersecurity looked like in real life and showed me a woman succeeding in very technical male dominant space. That really stuck with me. Over the years, I've met and been inspired by a lot of people, but it's always motivating to see women thriving in STEM because diversity matters, especially in fields like computer science where innovation depends on different perspectives. That's actually one of the things that attract me to the Federal Reserve. The organization's longstanding commitment to diversity and recognizes how important it is for creativity, innovation, and pushing the culture forward. Looking ahead to 5 to 10 years, I see myself earning my master's degree in cybersecurity and working as an ethical hacker, either for a major organization or possibly in the government sector. I'm excited about building a career that lets me use technology to protect systems and solve complex problems.
Very good. I see from your resume that you've started taking major level classes and have completed several projects. Tell me about a class assignment or project that you've worked on. How did you manage it to stay on schedule? How did you ensure it met the objectives? What obstacles came up and what was the outcome?
As mentioned earlier, a project that I'm currently working on includes designing a mental health app for college students, and this has been one of my favorite projects so far. This project is part of a research study my engaged learning advisor is doing in collaboration with Apple to understand and support students' overall wellness. The app includes daily journal entries for reflecting on their day, as well as the mood, water intake, sleep, and exercise trackers to help students stay aware of their health. It also features a study section where users could choose their favorite playlist and put their phone in rest mode for 30 minutes or more to reduce distractions. In early September, I worked with my faculty advisor to understand the project and what I needed to deliver. She provided me with a timeline for when certain features needed to be completed. I set aside 3 to 4 hours every day to work on the app after classes. I also checked in with the advisor at least once a week to share my progress and get her feedback on what I completed. This weekly check-in helped me stay on track with not only the project's timelines, but also made sure I was meeting the requirements and allowed to discuss further improvements that could be made. One challenge I faced was not knowing how Figma for app design and Swift UI for coding worked. But with online tutorials that I proactively watched and guidance from my advisor when I was stuck, I was able to overcome and complete the design of the app and begin coding. This project is still in progress, but my advisor has been impressed with my progress made so far, and the initial feedback she has received from Apple has also been positive.
That's actually fantastic and really exciting to hear. Look forward to learning more about how that turns out at the end. My next question, tell me about a time you had multiple deadlines at once. How did you manage your time and how did you prioritize your task?
One example of managing multiple deadlines at once is during finals week. It's different from regular classes because everything comes up at the same time. Major projects, final exams, and the logistics of preparing to move out of the dorm for the semester. On top of that, having to manage a final exam schedule, which is different from my regular class schedule, requires me to also adjust my work schedule. To manage it, I start by getting everything out of my head and into a plan. I list each class what to do and estimate the amount of time each assignment requires. I prioritize based on two things: deadlines for projects and difficulty in terms of subject to know how much time I need to spend studying. I've learned that starting to work on the most challenging or time consuming tasks first really helps me stay ahead and reduce the stress. But it is also important to balance this with what is due first. Also, every class isn't treated equally in terms of time spent. For example, for some of my classes like computer org, I understand what is being covered, so I don't spend much time studying for the finals as I would other classes. A quick 1 to 2 hour refresh of topics and notes is all that I need. For other classes like discrete math, the subject is harder and requires more studying time. So I spread out a couple of hours each day leading up to the final to study and even took advantage of tutoring that professors offer. In terms of work, my final exam schedule conflicted with my work schedule. When I discovered this, I shared the final exam schedule with my manager since it was different from my regular class schedule. From speaking with my manager proactively, I learned that the company offered temporary schedule accommodations for school, which was a lifesaver last week while I wrapped up projects and completed final exams. This has reduced my stress significantly, but also reinforced how important it is to plan ahead and communicate potential issues earlier. By organizing everything, breaking work into manageable pieces, and estimating time required and communicating issues early, I've been able to stay on top of completing deadlines and finish the last week of the semester confidently and with low levels of stress.
That's awesome and congratulations on almost closing out the semester. My next question is, walk me through how you approach solving a problem you've never seen before.
If approaching a problem I've never seen before, I always start with doing background research on whatever it is. Doing prior research helps me understand what exactly it is I'm doing, while also allowing me to visualize how I'm going to get it done. This process makes things easier so I don't feel like I'm going into the situation blindly. One example of where I had to do this recently was on the mental health app design project. I had never designed an app and was not familiar with Figma. Instead of using my unfamiliarity by that with the tool as an excuse, I proactively watched videos on YouTube to understand the features and how to get started. The videos helped me understand what Figma supported, and the tutorials of people using it to develop their apps helped me see the approach I should take. This greatly helped me solve one of the initial problems I encountered on the project of not knowing how to design an app.
That's pretty cool. I probably will need to look at the tutorials myself because I also do not know how to build an app and something I'm curious about doing. So good to hear there's resources out there to help. As outlined in the internship description, being able to work effectively in a team environment is important. Our interns will participate in projects that require collaboration with multiple teams. Can you tell me about a time that you worked with the team? What was your role? What challenges did the team face? And how did you guys work through them? What was the result?
One example of working effectively on a team was during my augmented reality project. Our group of four was tasked with creating a program similar to a Snapchat filter. When a user pointed their camera at a card, the program would detect whether the front or the back was being scanned and then display either a TV or a dancing robot in the camera view. We divided the work based on our strengths. Some teammates focused on the image detection and animation code, while others, including me, worked on the interface and the presentation. We would deliver at the end. Dividing the work this way helped eliminate many challenges because everyone was able to contribute their own strengths. If I had to name one challenge, it would be making everything flow smoothly once we combined our individual parts. To work through this, we met as a group several times throughout the project and towards the end, making adjustments based on what would create the best final project. The project was a success. The filter performed exactly as intended, and our presentation went really well. It was a great experience because it taught me how important communication, collaboration, and flexibility are when working on a team.
Very good. Teamwork is something we are all familiar with, and you'll get a lot of experience working on teams, even with some of the other interns through our program. As an intern, you will also be asked to use tools or technologies that are new to you, which should be expected since you're still in school. Tell me about a time when you had to learn a new tool or technology to complete a task. How did you approach learning it? What challenges did you face? And how did you overcome those challenges? And last but not least, what was the result?
A time when I had to learn a new tool was when I started learning Python, which is a programming language commonly used by developers. In high school, we only learned Java, so that was all I was familiar with. To my surprise, I was introduced to Python during my freshman year of college. At first, it was a little challenging because I was so used to Java that Python almost felt like a step backwards since it's often seen as less work compared to Java. My approach to learning it was to rewrite and review everything we covered in class. This helped me retain the information much better. Practicing coding on my own time also allowed me to learn Python at my own pace, which made the transition way smoother and made it feel like learning Python was never an issue to begin with. Of course, I experienced the challenges in the learning process. The good thing about programming is you get immediate feedback when something is wrong because it won't produce the output you were expecting. When this happened, I would research why it wasn't working using a combination of tools, Google, YouTube, ChatGPT, and course textbook. This helped me identify not only what I was doing wrong, but also helped me understand why it was wrong so that I wouldn't make the exact same mistakes in the future. Knowing where to go when I was stuck was also helpful on future programming projects and something I'm doing now as I work on the coding for the mental health app.
Very good. Half the battle is trying to figure out where to go to get the answers, and sounds like you have a good process for doing that. So good job and keep up the great work. My last question, describe a situation where you received feedback on your work. How did you respond, and what did you change as a result?
While taking my technical communications course in college, we had many writing assignments. With peer reviews required for almost every assignment and the feedback from my professor, I received a lot of comments, mostly positive, but some constructive as well. When I didn't understand all of the feedback I received, I would reach out to my professor to explain what I had done and better understand her feedback so that I could perform better on future assignments. Instead of complaining about a grade on an assignment, I would take the approach to advocate for myself and ask questions to understand the feedback that I had been given. This helped express my perspective, but most importantly, ensure my work met requirements going forward. What I learned from the challenges I had in this class is that it is important to ask questions upfront when a project is assigned, when the instructions are not clear to me, and not to make assumptions. This is a skill that is very important in the workplace as people from different backgrounds have different communication styles, and it is important to make sure everyone is on the same page.
That's actually a terrific learning. Something that, I do myself in my daily job as well is just repeating something back to make sure we're all on the same page. So sounds like you're on the right track. As I mentioned, that concludes my questions for you. We do have about 10 minutes left, and so I will now turn it over to you to ask any questions that you have of me.
Perfect. A question I have is for you is what qualities set apart interns who get invited back for future opportunities?
That's a fantastic question. In my experience, the interns who really stand out share a few common traits. First, they show